Good evening, everybody. Before we get started, will everybody please shut off their cell phones? Good evening, everyone, and welcome on behalf of the Oxnard INCO Executive Board. Thank you to all of you joining us tonight. Whether you are here in person, joining us on Zoom, or watching via YouTube live stream. Translation is available via Zoom. We especially want to welcome tonight's candidates and thank them for taking the time to participate in this public forum and for their willingness to serve our community. Tonight's candidate forums are being held as a part of a special meeting of Oxnard INCO. Before we begin the forum portion of the evening, we need to conduct a small amount of official business related to special meeting, including roll call by our Madam Secretary, Samantha Shapiro. Before we proceed, I would also like to briefly review what to expect this evening. The candidate forums will be moderated by Ronald Arroyo, who will guide the programs, review the rules and the format, ask the questions, monitor time, and facilitate the transitions between each candidate forum. After I complete the opening business of the special meeting, I will turn the program over to our moderator for the evening. Tonight's forums will proceed in the following order. There is some minor changes for which Ronald will go over. Treasurer, tax collector, superintendent, auditor, controller, and clerk recorder. The evening is expected to conclude at approximately 8:45 p.m. There will be brief transition breaks between forums, and we ask everyone to please remain seated during those transitions whenever possible. As a reminder, we ask all audience members to remain respectful and courteous throughout the evening. Our goal is to provide a fair, informative, and orderly forum for both the candidates and the public. I also want to clarify one procedural matter to avoid confusion at the end of the evening. Although our moderator will provide concluding remarks after the candidate questioning is completed, the special meeting itself will not officially adjourn until I return to formally close the meeting as chair. At the conclusion of the forums, I may also invite members of the executive board to share any brief final acknowledgments before adjournment. At which time now I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Doug, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I'll rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. Begin. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Doug. At this time, Madam Secretary, would you please conduct a roll call?
Blackstock South, Chris Bissonette. Bryce Canyon North, John Hike. Here. Cabrillo, Juan Carrillo. Carriage Square, Vilma Contreras. Channel Islands, Tom McNally. Cypress, Noemi Corpus. East Village, Alexis Schmidt. Fremont South, Kim Winch. Hobson Park East, Roger Poirier. Kamala Park, Robert Lucio. La Colonia, Daniel Alvarez. Lemonwood Eastmont, Larry Stein. Orchard Park, Diana Velzy.
Here.
Oxnard Dunes, Lisa Hewitt. Here. Oxnard Shores, Walt Hagedom. Pleasant Valley Estates, Rosanna Biggerstaff. Redwood, Patrick Harlan. Rio Lindo, Sandy Diaz. Here. River Park, Paul Schneblin. Rose Park, Alfonso Arroyo. Here. Seaview Estates, Isaac Califf. Here. Sierra Linda, Sergio Garcia. South Bank, Deb Aravallo. South Winds, Yanet Maravilla. Via Marina, Doug Tauber. Here. West Village, Sean Zumwalt. Wilson, Kathleen Behrens. Windsor North, Brian Landers. And Chair, we have some chairs online that I will account for.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Secretary. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce our moderator for this evening, Ronald Arroyo, who will review the forum procedures and begin tonight's candidate forums. Ronald Arroyo, thank you again for your assistance and for serving as moderator this evening. I now turn the program over to you.
Thank you, Chair Diana Velzi. At this time, we'll go into a brief recess of 1 to 2 minutes to get our candidates situated. Thank you.
Thank you. I screwed up.
Good evening, Oxnard residents and those watching at home. I am Ronald Arroyo, a member of the Inter-Neighborhood Council Organization, INCO, and Vice Chair of the East Village Neighborhood. I am your moderator for the position of Treasurer Tax Collector. We are proud to present the candidates for Treasurer Tax Collector, and we have both of them present with us tonight. The INCO of the City of Oxnard consists of the chairpersons and executive boards of Oxnard's 44 active neighborhood councils, all being volunteers, giving residents the opportunity to participate in governmental decision-making processes and serving as an advocacy group for each of the neighborhood councils. This forum is being hosted by the INCO. As an organization, it cannot and does not publicly support any candidate for political office. This is an opportunity for voters to hear directly from the candidates to get the information they need to make an informed choice when voting. We are glad that all are here to hear from our candidates, and we do hope that the voters get the information that they need. The rules of this forum have been previously communicated to the candidates as follows. Candidates will be given 2 minutes to present their opening and closing statements. Questions will be posed to all the candidates, and each candidate will be given 60 seconds to answer. Candidates may have a page of notes to refer to and will have additionally paper to write notes on. We will now begin with the opening statements from both candidates. Please take note of the timer before you. The first candidate, Ms. Tan, will start with their opening statement, followed by Mr. Faraj. You can now begin, Ms. Tan.
All right. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to the Oxnard INCO for hosting this event. The Treasurer Tax Collector is the financial backbone of the county's operation as we handle virtually all of the money that comes into and flows out of the county. I'm running for the Treasurer Tax Collector because I am a professional with a unique combination of finance and public service experience. I have been a CPA for 26 years. I have a Master of Public Administration in Public Sector Leadership and Management. I know the job. I am the Assistant Treasurer Tax Collector, and that is equivalent to the Chief Operating Officer of the agency, as I manage all aspects of operation in this office. I have been with the agency for more than 10 years, managing different departments. I care about the county, our constituents, and my staff. I care about this office and what this office represents. It is important that the person running this office is qualified and experienced to lead this agency in a positive direction. The Treasurer Tax Collector is a well-run agency. We focus on our constituents to deliver exceptional customer service. Running for Treasurer Tax Collector is one way of giving back to the community where I live. For those of you who want stability, professionalism, and focusing on our constituents in support of our workforce, I am your person, and I respectfully ask for your endorsement and vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tan. Our next candidate is Mr. Faraj. You have 2 minutes.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here tonight. My name is Derek Faraj, and I am running for Treasurer Tax Collector. What makes my candidacy unique is my entire career has been dedicated to public service. I started my career with the Treasurer Tax Collector's office as a student worker, helping residents directly at the front counter with property tax questions and payments. Over time, I worked my way up through the department and eventually became the supervisor for special collections. That experience gave me a perspective that only comes from working directly with the public during difficult collection periods, helping taxpayers on the phone, the counter, and through stressful situations involving their homes and businesses. I learned early on that the customer service in government matters. People may not remember every law or procedure, but they will remember whether they were treated with professionalism, patience, and respect. Today, I serve as the Director of Accounting for the County District Attorney's Office, overseeing complex public budgets, audits, grants, and financial operations. As Treasurer Tax Collector, my priorities will be modernization and customer accessibility. On the investment side, California Government Code and California or County investment policy already define how public funds are invested, prioritizing safety, liquidity, and competitive yield. My responsibility will be ensuring those funds continue to be managed responsibly and transparently. On the tax collection side, my number one operational priority will be implementing partial payment options and expanding public outreach and education. Residents deserve modern online tools, better communication, and a system that is easier to navigate. I believe this office should combine strong financial stewardship with excellent customer service. I'd be honored to earn your support here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Faraj. We will now enter the question section of the forum, group by topic. The first question will be posed to Ms. Tan, and then Mr. Faraj, and then the following questions will then alternate between both of you on who will answer first. Our first topic for this forum will be on duties of the office. First by Ms. Tan, followed by Mr. Faraj. The first question is, according to the county's Treasurer Tax Collector website, the 3 general functions of the position is the collection of assorted county and local taxes, 2, management of the county treasury, and 3, investment of the local agency investment pool. With regards to the investment pool, which currently holds the highest possible rating from Standard & Poor's, what will you continue or additionally do to maintain the highest rating during your term? Ms. Tan.
Okay, thank you for the question. I directly manage our $5.3 billion investment pool every day. So it's very critical because we manage the liquidity of the county. So when cash is needed, funds are available. And I'm very proud that we have withstand numerous audits in our investment pool, whether external audit firms or internal audit firms, and also, as well as the annual review of Standard & Poor's. We have a robust investment policy, and actually in the next few weeks, we will be submitting an updated investment policy that will reflect all the changes in the new government code. I have a great team. We call it investment work group, that we manage the cash flow as well as determine what securities to invest. We have an approved issuer list of what securities to buy. We follow government code. We follow our investment policy, and we will work with our brokers.
Thank you. Your time is up. Mr. Faraj, you're up next.
So yes, there are brand new tools always coming out into the market, AI tools, the department has a Bloomberg terminal, which has extra services that can be leveraged to maintain that high rating. Another thing is always reviewing market trends. Again, using those extra tools can do that very cheaply. And then also investing in professional staff. The staff at the office are great, and continuing to invest in them will help continue to keep that rating high.
Thank you, Mr. Fraj. Our next question on this same topic is, how does the office manage the cash flow? In what ways can you make this more efficient without increasing errors? Mr. Faraj, you'll be first, followed by Ms. Tan. Mr. Faraj.
Yeah, so cash flow is what we intake and what goes out of the county. So working with the partners all throughout the county, all of the agencies, the 26 different agencies within the county, working with the CEO's office to know what's forecasted to be spent, so we know what liquidity we need, how much cash we need in the bank to make payments to vendors. Also with the auditor controller to make sure we have payroll so we can pay all of our sheriff deputies, our nurses, and all of the other professional staff within the county. So really reinforcing all of the relationships with all of the departments and school districts, since the county treasurer keeps cash for those school districts.
Thank you, Mr. Fraj. Ms. Tan, you're up next.
Okay. We manage the cash flow every day. It's a daily exercise. We look at it more than once a day. We look at it in the morning. We look at it at the end of the day, because we look at our bank transactions. Treasury processes $15 billion in bank transaction each year. So managing your cash flow is the most important thing in public fund investment. It is not like our 401k, so it's completely different. We have to adhere to strict government code. So how we do it, we identify critical dates. For example, payroll, we pay for the payroll of the county as well as schools and colleges. We make sure that we have 6 months of liquidity in our cash flow. We're not just talking about next month, but we're talking about 6 months liquidity, and that's very important in managing our cash flows. And we work with our brokers and dealers to identify which bonds to buy to match those cash flows. So when the cash...
Thank you, Ms. Tan. The third question on the topic of duties of the office is as follows. What initiatives would you put in place or start in the office that will continue or be different than the current operations in the office? Ms. Tan, you'll be first, followed by Mr. Faraj. Ms. Tan, you have 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. First and foremost, the duty of the Treasury tax collector is to continue to safeguard the cash. That's my primary duty. Second is to continue to deliver excellent customer service to our constituents. And as the need of our population grows, and given the resource constraint that I face, I will continue to introduce innovations in operating efficiencies, prioritizing modernization and customer service delivery. Like in March, we introduced mobile payment so that our homeowners can pay their taxes at the comfort of their home. We are working to revamp our website to be user-friendly. We implemented a cloud-based phone system that is integrated in the laptop of each staff. Having to give each staff a laptop is a game changer, because that allows flexibility to work from home as well as in the office and be responsive to the taxpayers. So
Thank you, Ms. Tan. Mr. Faraj, you're next.
Yes, so my number one priority would be instituting partial payments. This will allow for people to make payments on their property taxes throughout the year instead of twice a year. One way this benefits the county is we get cash flow and money sooner than the December and April payments. People pay $200 a month or however their budget works out. We now have that money to invest sooner and can gain additional yield on that. Another would be petitioning the Board of Supervisors to institute discounts on property taxes. There is already a state law that allows for discounts when paying both installments of the property taxes before the November 1st due date. That has to be approved by the Board of Supervisors, and that would be something that I would petition the board to do.
Thank you, Mr. Faraj. And our final question on this topic of duties of the office will go first to Mr. Faraj and then Ms. Tan. Related but slightly different from the S&P rating, please tell us your experience in investing public funds. How would you work to have the county maintain their current strong investment profile? Mr. Faraj.
So my dealings with public funds comes from my job as the Director of Accounting and making sure that I adhere to the budget constraints of public funds for the District Attorney's Office. Our budget is about $71 million annually. And so we have guidelines from the county, state, and federal that require us to adhere to guidelines and code. One thing that translates to the Treasury side is going through audits. We make sure that we are adhering to all of those government codes and the policies that are enacted by the board, the state legislator, and the feds.
Thank you, Mr. Faraj. Ms. Tan, you have 1 minute.
Okay. I want to comment on my opponent's previous answers for the partial payments. That feature is under development under a new tax system. So to answer this current question, I want to let you know that I'm very active in all of the professional treasurers and investment organization. I'm on the finance committee of the Association of Public Treasurers in the United States and Canada, and I'm on the certification committee for the California Municipal Treasurers Association. As I mentioned in my previous response, the key thing to public fund investing and to maintain our S&P rated of AAAF S1, indicating that our pool is stable and safe, is to really know how to manage our cash flow. This is not like the accounting cash flow that the auditors or the accountants will just prepare at the end of the year or after the fact. This is actually figuring out incoming cash flow, just like bond proceeds or incoming tax payments during the busy collection, as well as payroll dates.
Thank you, Ms. Tan. We'll go to our next group of questions on knowledge, experience, and communication, with our first question from that going to Ms. Tan and then Mr. Faraj. Ms. Tan, your question. How has your education and experience prepared you for this position? What can you specifically point to that would be advantageous as a treasurer tax collector? You have 1 minute.
Okay, so I have been a CPA for more than 26 years. Right after college, where I majored in accounting and finance, I worked with one of the big 6 accounting firms. And then I work in publicly traded companies where I work in corporate finance, SEC reporting, SOX compliance, auditing, accounting. And then I went to County of Ventura to work in the treasurer tax collector. I love my job. I learned so much doing the job because it's operational as well as fiscal. I have a Master of Public Administration in Public Sector Leadership and Management and have earned several investment certifications. So I'm very qualified and experienced because I have both in government, investment, and banking experience.
Thank you, Ms. Tan. Mr. Faraj, you have 60 seconds.
So my experience comes from my entire career working with the county. I've worked for the Treasurer Tax Collector's Office, the Public Works Department, probation, and now with the District Attorney. So I have a well-rounded understanding of how the county works and how their finances work. I'm heavily involved in the budget. Like I said, I monitor the District Attorney's budget. And a big chunk of my experience comes from that public service. I had direct responsibilities of working at the public counter, taking phone calls from taxpayers, dealing with businesses and their 571L forms, working with the assessor's office to get tax liens cleared or paid. And that was direct experience with those taxpayers.
Thank you, Mr. Faraj. Our next question will go first to you and then to Ms. Tan. What is the role of keeping the public informed about the duties of the treasurer tax collector? Specifically to the public, how does your position affect their lives other than the collection of property taxes? Mr. Faraj.
Yeah, so one of my big campaign pushes is education and public outreach. A very easy thing that we can easily implement within the office would be emails. Doesn't cost the county anything to send an email reminder December 1st, hey, don't forget your property taxes are outstanding. So that public outreach and that public communication doesn't cost anything, and we can make sure that people aren't late on their penalties and have to rely on budgetary for those penalties. And again, with the public outreach, having open town halls and forums where people can come and ask and maybe even coordinate with the tax collector, the assessor, and the auditor, who all handle the tax collection process, so they can get their answers, their questions answered without having to call in and get automated messages.
Thank you, Mr. Faraj. Ms. Tan, you have 1 minute.
Okay. Our agency worked closely with our county public information officer. You know, we work with them to ensure that we reach out to our constituents. So whether when the taxes are due, our drop boxes, or the new U.S. postal postmark rule, we work with them to give our taxpayers a friendly reminder. A lot of people don't know about the treasurer tax collector other than collecting taxes. So what we have been doing is we go to our pool participants. The largest pool participants are our schools and colleges. So we do make presentations there because not only are we the county's bank, but we are also the bank for the schools and colleges. We pay their payroll. We provide banking services to our pool participants. For example, City of Oxnard is one of our pool participants. So we do work closely with our pool participants on the Treasury side.
Thank you, Ms. Tan. Our last question on this group of topics on knowledge, experience, and communication will first go to you and then to Mr. Faraj. What do you envision your role with the Board of Supervisors and with the other appointed and elected heads of departments? To what extent should you be using the input from them in your operations and vice versa? Ms. Tan.
Okay, thank you for the question. You know, in every job that I do, it all comes down to relationship. It's not the technical skills. It all comes down to relationship. So we do have a wonderful relationship with our boards of supervisor, our CEO office, and our elected leaders. There's always room for enhanced collaboration and increased communication. We work with them, try to make it work. I actually working with a case right now for a non-for-profit. So hopefully we can facilitate refunding the taxes. So a lot of them is just really building relationship. And what at the end of the day is we have the same constituents, the public, the taxpayers, the public agency, the schools and colleges. That's our priority.
Thank you, Ms. Tan. Mr. Faraj, you have 1 minute.
So the Board of Supervisors and the CEO's office run the county for most of the agencies. Each of the individual elected heads, like the district attorney, the sheriff, the treasurer, tax collector, and the auditors, rely on the treasurer to make sure they have cash flow to do the things that they want to do within the community. A big one is making sure we had the cash flow to open the Family Justice Center here in Oxnard, the Carmen Ramirez Family Justice Center, and that cost money. And so working with the board, working with the CEO's office, knowing what is on the horizon, how are we going to pay for HR1 and the medical services? Those are things that the treasurer and tax collector must know and keep track of to keep the treasury liquid and cash flow flowing.
Thank you, Mr. Faraj. Our last group of questions are based on why you are campaigning. The first will go to Mr. Faraj and then to Ms. Tan. You are both vying to replace the current office holder, Sue Horgan, who has declined to run again. What would you do the same or differently as her in your term? Mr. Farage.
Differently, I would probably say focus more on the customer service aspect of it. Again, from my research into the office, it's more transactional for people who contact the office. People are treated as a number, calls are tried to, transferred to the assessor when they need to talk to somebody about the assessment, instead of having somebody work with them and transfer over with them to explain the situation, not go and transfer them back into a queue where that causes frustration towards people. So one of the big things would be no transferring, no cold transferring, warm handoffs to other agencies so it reduces frustration.
Thank you, Mr. Farage. Ms. Tan, same question.
I have a wonderful boss, Sue Horgan. She's a beautiful person, and I'm so fortunate to have the opportunity to work with her. So, taxes can be stressful. For the taxpayers, it can be stressful, whether even in your income taxes. So what my opponent said is not correct. By the time the taxpayer comes to our window, or by the time they call us, we are the tail end of the process. We are responsive. We listen to the taxpayers. There are times my staff would go to the assessor and would take the taxpayer to go to the assessor and explain the issue, because we go above and beyond to serve our taxpayers. As I said, I know it can be frustrating because we are the tail end of the process, but we are very responsive.
Thank you, Ms. Tan. Our next question will go first to you and then Mr. Farage. What are your campaign's main priorities? How will that translate to your position as Treasurer Tax Collector? Ms. Tan.
Okay. So as I mentioned before, I want to continue to safeguard the county cash because that is my primary duty. Second is I want to continue to introduce innovation and process improvement, given that the need of our population grows, so to focus on modernization and customer service delivery. Next is for succession planning. We are a small agency. I want to be able to identify future leaders of this agency so that we will continue to create long-term professionalism in our agency. And like I said, we have wonderful staff. We go above and beyond to serve our taxpayers. I used to be the treasury manager. I have very good working relationship with all public agency. We provide excellent customer service, whether it's the taxpayers, public agencies, schools, and colleges. We have very good relationship with them.
Thank you, Ms. Tan. And Mr. Farage.
Yeah, so my number one priority will be fixing the property tax system. It's almost a 10-year now project that is still getting all the bugs worked out. And one of the main ones is those partial payments. Again, I think the partial payments where making payment partial on a $2,000 bill, $500, if you're assessed penalties because you go past that December 10th date, it's now only on $1,500 instead of the $2,000. So penalties decrease. Second would be safety of the county funds, continuing to keep that high AAA rating. And then, like my opponent said, leadership and mentorship. I started there as a student worker and learned so much that now, I'm running for this office.
Thank you, Mr. Farage. As we get to the end of the questions, as the audience, and if you've done your research, usually at the end, I like to have one question based to get a little bit more insight on you personally. And so the first question will be to Mr. Farage and then Ms. Tan. What is your favorite thing to do in Ventura County and why? Mr. Farage.
Ventura County has a ton of things to do. I'm from Oxnard. I love the weather. Outside, 68 degrees is fantastic. Light sweater. I miss it because I live in Fillmore now. So, you know, the average temperature out there is like 75 degrees and it's too hot for me. But all the shopping that Oxnard provides and the downtown atmosphere that Ventura downtown provides, we have friends who live in the collection, and being able to go over there and then walk down and some of the fun things to do like Levity Live is fun to always see who's playing there. And then going to some of the local plays. Fillmore has a great Sesame Players. They put on plays all the time, and Santa Paula as well. So we started getting into that.
Thank you, Mr. Faraj. And Ms. Tan?
Okay. I like the outdoors. I love hiking, and Ventura County has beautiful beaches and hiking trails. Unfortunately, we're in the campaign season, so I don't have much social life other than reading some books at night. I still go out to run. In the morning, I wake up at 4 o'clock. I go running by 5 o'clock because I have to be at work by 7 to do investment. You know, one thing I learned from campaigning is I met so many wonderful people that are very active or very proud of their civic duty. One thing I would like to do is after the campaign or election is I want to get involved in their causes, local, whether, you know, it's about promoting women leaders in our neighborhood or the seniors. So it's a very good opportunity for me to learn what the community is focusing on, and I'm very grateful that I'm in this campaign.
Thank you, Ms. Tan. And now that is time for all of our questions. We'll move on to the closing statements, and we'll begin the 2-minute closing statements from all candidates in the reverse order of the opening statements. The first candidate, Mr. Faraj, will start with their closing statement, followed by Ms. Tan. Mr. Faraj, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you again for everyone being here tonight, and thank you to INCO for the invite. Over the course of this campaign, I've had the opportunity to meet residents from across Ventura County and have had a lot of honest conversations about what people want from government. More than anything, people want professionalism, transparency, accessibility, and to be treated with respect. That's the approach I've tried to carry throughout my entire career in public service. I started in the Treasurer Tax Collector's office as a student worker and worked my way through the department, helping taxpayers directly during some of the busiest collection periods. Those experiences shaped how I view this office and responsibilities. If you have a chance afterwards, ask me about a senior taxpayer we helped avoid losing their home during collections. That experience stayed with me. I care deeply about Ventura County. It is where I grew up, started my family, decided to dedicate my career to, and I believe this office should combine strong financial stewardship with excellent customer service and modern, accessible systems that work for the public. I would truly be honored to earn your support and your vote this June 2nd. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Faraj. Ms. Tan, you have 2 minutes.
This race comes down with experience. I have been the assistant treasurer tax collector for 4 years and have been with the agency for more than 10 years. This is a hands-on job. This is not an oversight job. This is a hands-on job for a professional who has experience. I have more than 30 years of professional finance, government, and investment experience. Our staff are dedicated and professional in providing impeccable service in every interaction with our constituents. We are the fiscal stewards of public funds. We safeguard the county cash. The money that we collect help fund the county's operations and all programs, which all go back to the community. We manage the liquidity of the county, and we manage our more than $5 billion investment pool. So when cash is needed, funds are available. Our pool has consistently been rated the highest by S&P rating. And I take my fiduciary duty to the citizens of Ventura County seriously. I lead with compassion, integrity, transparency, and genuine leadership. I have the endorsement of 3 treasurer tax collectors for the last 25 years. I also have the endorsement of elected and community leaders in our community. I, Mary Lou Tan, respectfully ask for your endorsement and vote on June 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tan. Thank you, and that concludes our forum for Treasurer Tax Collector. Thank you to all the candidates for participating in this Treasurer Tax Collector Forum. It takes an enormous amount of time and energy to run for office, not just for yourself, but also for your family, friends, and supporters. We thank you for taking part in maintaining our democracy. I would also like to thank the INCO Executive Board for approving these candidate forums, Ms. Samantha Shapiro with the City of Oxnard for forum logistics, the INCO for hosting, translation services into Spanish, and the City of Oxnard for the use of their council chambers. We thank all the candidates for your time to speak to the voters, and good luck to you all. At this time, we will take a 5 to 10-minute recess in our proceedings to transition to the next candidate forum for the position of County Superintendent of Schools. Thank you. If there's no objection, we'll be in recess. Thank you. Thank you. We are back in session. Good evening, Oxnard residents and those watching at home. I am Ronald Arwejo, a member of the Inter-Neighborhood Council Organization and Vice Chair of the East Village Neighborhood. I'm your moderator for this position of County Superintendent of Schools. We are happy to present one of the three candidates to County Superintendent of Schools. And so some brief remarks before we go into the formality. As you may or may not know, all 9 county-wide nonpartisan candidates were invited. We were in discussions with at least 8 of them, but unfortunately, late-breaking circumstances have only led to just one of the 3 candidates for County Superintendent of Schools. And so at this time, we prepared, all have prepared to have at least 2 candidates, and so Dr. Scher was given the option to decline, to keep the time, or to be combined with the following session. And so she has decided to keep her time, and we will be conducting our forum as prepared in a slightly limited fashion. The INCO of the City of Oxnard consists of the chairpersons and executive boards of Oxnard's 44 active neighborhood councils, all being volunteers, giving residents the opportunity to participate in governmental decision-making processes and serving as an advocacy group for each of the neighborhood councils. This forum is being hosted by the INCO. As an organization, it cannot and does not publicly support any candidate for political office. This is an opportunity for voters to hear directly from the candidates to get the information they need to make an informed choice when voting. We are glad that all are here to hear from our candidate who have participated, and we do hope that the voters get the information that they need. The rules of this forum have been previously communicated. Candidates will be given 2 minutes to present their opening and closing statements. A question will be posed to the candidate, who will have 60 seconds to answer, and candidates may have 1 page of notes to refer to and will additionally have paper to write notes on. We will now begin with an opening statement from Dr. Scher. Please take note of the timer before you. You have 2 minutes. Apologies. We'll restart the time. If you can make sure your microphone is on.
Is on?
Okay.
Okay. There.
If you could speak closer to the microphone. Thank you so much.
Is that better?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. It's so nice to be here with you all tonight, and thank you to those of you for coming and those watching online. And of course, the INCO for having me in the city of Oxnard and all of the staff that are here to assist in this process. So thank you. And of course, the translators in the back, thank you so much for being here. My name is Dr. Karen Scher. I serve currently as the board president of the Oxnard Union High School District. I am in my 3rd term at the end of my 12th year, where the cities of Oxnard, Camarillo, Port Hueneme, El Rio, the Santa Rosa Valley, and 2 naval bases have elected me to represent them and the almost 16,000 students and about 1,600 students and about 1,700 employees that make up the Oxnard Union High School District, along with about a $300 million budget and over $500 million in bond measure funds that the voters have trusted us with. I also am a teacher in the Oxnard Elementary School District, and I have been since 1999. I'm the 2nd most senior language arts teacher, and I'm currently on special assignment to the California Department of Education, where I serve statewide as the Director of Teacher Recruitment. I hold a bachelor's degree in secondary education and English, a master's degree in developmental reading, a master's degree in instructional leadership, and I have just completed my doctorate at the University of Southern California in organizational leadership and change. So, and you probably, if you know me, it's not probably because you watch board meetings, it's because I show up. And I want that to be clear tonight. That is an example of me showing up every time for this community, the community that I represent and live in and call my home. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Scher. We will have four groups of topics, 2 questions each. Our first topic is on the duties of the office, and our first question is, according to the California County Superintendent's Organization, their guiding principles are to courageously advocate for all children, commit to innovation and excellence, and collaborate in pursuit of an equitable and effective public education system. Are these something that you could commit to? If so, how? You have 1 minute.
Oh my gosh. I believe 3 things to be wholeheartedly true. I believe that public education is the underpinning of our democracy. I believe teachers and school communities make every other profession possible. And I believe that every child deserves the opportunity for a powerful future. I have spent the last 30 years in classrooms in Ventura County. I'm the only candidate that has teaching experience here in Ventura County, and I am the only candidate who has actually run and won elections. So one of my opponents ran unopposed in 2022, the appointed incumbent, and in 2026, he has 2 women challenging him. So I have a wealth of experience, and I'm excited to bring that to the county.
Thank you. Our second question is, how does your knowledge, experience, and skills align with the functions of the office? You have 60 seconds.
Well, most currently, I hold a doctorate in organizational change and leadership. And I think one of the things that's very important for everyone to know is that I am the only candidate that has been endorsed by teachers and by public safety and by labor. The California Federation of Teachers is the organization that represents the employees of the Ventura County Office of Education, and they have endorsed me in this race. So what I bring to this office is not only a wealth of experience as an elected official. I hold a master in governance from the California School Board Association. And with an organization like VCOE that is crying out for new leadership, I am excited to bring that leadership that I have brought to the Oxnard Union High School District and really take that countywide. Things like mental health supports and services, wraparound supports, community schools, graduation rates that have never been higher. We beat the state average by 6% last year, 93%. So really proud of that work.
Thank you very much. Our next group of topics is on collaboration and communication. Our first question, if elected, you will be the leader of education for the county with certain powers. What is your philosophy on this role in taking time to foster collaboration or whether to make decisive and relatively quick action?
Okay, thank you. So I think that one of the things I am best at is building teams. And I don't claim to know the answer to everything, but I know how to build teams to get things done. And I think what we've done in the Oxnard Union High School District, for example, with over $500 million in taxpayer bond measure funds to deliver equitable facilities to the largest school district in the county, and we've done that. In fact, we just broke ground at the pool at Channel Islands High School to finally bring a pool to South Oxnard, and all of our high schools are equitable, and that is the kind of leadership that the whole county deserves. There are parts of our county that do not have broadband, even post-COVID, that is totally unacceptable. The current appointed incumbent has had 5 years to deliver these kinds of measures to the county, and he is very good at taking credit for the work we've done at the Oxnard Union High School District, but this is the kind of leadership that needs to be countywide.
Thank you very much. Our next question is, education does not live in a bubble. What is your vision for strengthening the partnership between the county office, local districts, the Chamber of Commerce, and local industry to the benefit of all? You may begin.
Thank you. So one of the most important things is that we graduate our students career ready and college prepared. I'm so proud of the fact that labor has solidly gotten behind me in this race. IBEW, the Central Coast Labor Council, the sheet metal workers, the iron workers, and Western carpenters. That all represents the work that I've done to bring apprenticeships and paid apprenticeships to the Oxnard Union High School District so our students can get work experience and earn money at the same time. And then in addition to that, we have 72 academies and pathways, CTE academies and pathways, everything from art and music to robotics and engineering, culinary pathways, labor apprenticeships, the second in the state to have a paid teaching apprenticeship program. And so these are the kinds of things that every child in the county should have access to.
Thank you, Dr. Scher. Our next group of questions is on the topic of equity and student achievement. Our first question, what specific actionable steps have you taken to ensure that students with disabilities and underrepresented students are receiving adequate support, and how will you continue and build upon those actions as county superintendent? You have 1 minute.
Thank you. This is a question very close to my heart. We very early on in about 2016, we adopted a one-color cap and gown policy so that no student would have to choose which color to wear during their graduation ceremony. And that developed into one of the most equitable dress code policies in the county where people are treated the same with regard to a safe policy around dress codes, but equitable with regard to body size and shape. We've done work around providing gender neutral restrooms for every student. That's a very important thing, that every child have access to the facilities. And that's something I've worked on with state superintendent. And you know, parents having access to LCAP meetings and publicizing those meetings, because that is the place where parents and community members have a chance to give input, and we're required to gather feedback. And so those meetings have become very important. I'm proud of that work.
Thank you. And our next question is, tell us about your philosophy and implementation with regards to early childhood education and transitional kindergarten. You have 60 seconds.
Thank you. Well, transitional kindergarten is incredibly important. You know, our work at the CDE, my work with State Superintendent Thurmond, is really pushing dyslexia testing for every kindergartner. That's something that the county office has not pursued, and one of the reasons why State Superintendent Thurmond has endorsed me for this race is that these priorities are so important, and there's no leadership at the county doing this work. And the other thing is providing the science of reading, which is, I have one of my master's degrees is in developmental reading. I'm a reading specialist, and the science of reading would give teachers another opportunity to help students in the best way. But we really need to make sure that every child is reading on grade level by 3rd grade, and the way to do that is to support teachers, not with extra duty, but with extra support, because we know that teacher working conditions are student learning conditions, and teachers are some of the most highly skilled professionals. We need to make sure they have access to really great materials.
Thank you. Our last group of questions is not categorizable. So I have 2 questions. Whoever wins this election will face many challenges, such as declining enrollment, reduced budgets, and criticism with high administrative salaries. Please provide some insight into your plan, assuming these challenges become a reality. You can discuss any of these specifically or as a whole. You have 1 minute.
Thank you. I'm going to need more than a minute, but I'll go as quickly as I can. I've made a commitment publicly to untangle the excessive administrative pay that currently exists at the County Office of Education. Anyone can go on Transparent California. It's a website where you can look at salaries of public employees. According to Transparent California, the current appointed incumbent makes almost $400,000 a year. He has 6 assistant superintendents that their pay is tied to his contractually. So essentially, if he looks good, they get a raise. That is unacceptable. Those dollars belong as close to the classroom as possible, again, because we know that teacher working conditions are student learning conditions. And when teachers like me, full disclosure, the appointed incumbent signs my paycheck. So for us to be begging for our 1% or 2% COLA every year, where this person has given himself 4 raises, totaling almost 23%, is unacceptable.
Thank you. And our last question is, you are trying to replace the current superintendent. Why do you feel you can better serve the county than the incumbent? You have 60 seconds.
Thank you. Well, I'll go back to my list of endorsements that go all the way from the classroom all the way to state educational leaders. I've been endorsed by the Lieutenant Governor, the State Treasurer, the Chief Services Officer, State Superintendent, school board members, city council members from across the state, almost 100 in total, and almost every mayor in the county of Ventura. I have not asked local school district superintendents or school board members to endorse me. I think it's a conflict of interest because those people might report to the county office at one point. That is not the case with my opponent, with the current appointed incumbent. A lot of his endorsements are exactly those people. So I think if you look at my list of endorsements and the people that I've formed relationships with and worked with, and really I feel like someone said to me the other day that I'm running for the position that I've been doing for the last 12 years. So I'm excited to bring this work to the county. I humbly ask for your vote. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. And as always, my last question in a candidate forum that I manage is a little bit more based on your person. What makes you excited to work in education? You have 1 minute.
Oh my gosh. Well, I always say that teaching is magic. We have this innate ability to impart knowledge. It's sort of like this thing that happens. And then when we go to school, and like I said, we are some of the most highly educated professionals. To have permanent status in the state of California, you essentially have to have a master's degree. So we are among the most highly trained, highly skilled professions, and it's magic. And we're so autonomous in our classrooms. We do our own work with our own students, but really the magic of teaching happens when we collaborate. And that's something at the county office. You know, I've been in the classrooms here in Oxnard for 30 years almost, and the collaboration at the county office should be a place where people come together and learn from each other. And I do remember a time when it was like that, and in the last decade, those services for us as professional educators have been decimated. So I'm excited to continue leading. I'm excited to bring this work countywide.
Thank you. And that is our time for the questions. We will now begin our 2-minute closing statement. Dr. Scher, you have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you again, everyone. I felt that was like trial by fire. It was very quick, rapid questions. But I am really excited to be here and speaking in front of you and talking to you about my vision and my passion for not only public education, but for what this position could be. So you hear, and I didn't get to answer part of the question about budgets, and I would like to point out that when you hear either of my opponents have spoken in the past about how they would deal with declining enrollment, they couched language around essentially laying people off. And that's how they would deal with declining enrollment. My ideas are about building affordable housing for teachers, for staff, for young families, for former graduates of school districts. There are currently 6 local school districts in the county that are eyeing affordable housing in this manner. And again, the appointed incumbent has had 5 years to do this work, and I'm at the state Department of Education doing this work. So I would be so grateful to be able to provide in the county possibly hundreds, maybe thousands of units of affordable housing that could serve not only the education community, but also other community members that are around the same financial brackets. The most important predictor in a student's success, no matter where they come from, no matter what language they speak, no matter how much money they have, nothing matters more than a highly qualified, happy, safe teacher. And in Ventura County and in many places in the state, we do not have a teacher shortage. We do not have what we call declining enrollment. What we have is an affordable housing shortage. And if we want to rebuild enrollment and we want to make our communities stronger, we have to address the housing part of what this means for our profession. So again, I want to thank you everyone for having me tonight. Go to shareforschools.com. I hope I've earned your vote. And again, thank you everyone for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Scher, for participating in this forum. It takes an enormous amount of time and energy to run for office, not just for yourself, but also for your family, friends, and supporters. And we thank you for taking part in maintaining our democracy. I would also like to thank the INCO Executive Board for approving this candidate forum, Ms. Samantha Shapiro with the City of Oxnard for forum logistics, the INCO for hosting, translation services into Spanish, and the City of Oxnard for the use of their council chambers. We thank you, Dr. Scher, for your time to speak to the voters. At this time, we will take a brief recess in our proceedings to transition to the next combined candidates forum for the positions of both auditor controller and clerk recorder. To the audience, we will likely start hopefully by 7:30 because of the loss of at least one candidate late in the county superintendent forum. We're running 30 to 40 minutes ahead of schedule, so we appreciate your patience. We'll be in recess until at least 7:30 p.m., and we thank you all. With no objection, we'll be in recess.
Hello there, how are you doing?
Good evening, Oxnard residents and those watching at home. I am Ronald Arwejo, a member of the Inter-Neighborhood Council Organization and Vice Chair of the East Village Neighborhood. I am your moderator for the positions of Auditor Controller and Clerk and Recorder. We are proud to present the sole candidate for Auditor Controller and one of the two candidates for Clerk and Recorder. In organizing these candidate forums, we had decided if there was only one candidate for an office who agreed to participate, we would combine these positions in a single forum for the sake of efficiency. It was a little bit different in the previous forum with County Superintendent of Schools because that participation or declining of participation happened at the last minute, and the preparation for all those concerned just was in the best interest to keep it solely just the county superintendent position. The INCO of the City of Oxnard consists of the chairpersons and executive boards of Oxnard's 44 active neighborhood councils, all being volunteers, giving residents the opportunity to participate in governmental decision-making processes and serving as an advocacy group for each of the neighborhood councils. This forum is being hosted by the INCO, and as an organization, it cannot and does not publicly support any candidate for political office. This is an opportunity for voters to hear directly from the candidates to get the information they need to make an informed choice when voting. We are glad that all are here to hear from our candidates, and we do hope that the voters get the information that they need. The rules of this forum have been previously communicated to the candidates as follows. Candidates will be given 2 minutes to present their opening and closing statements. Questions will be posed to all the candidates, and each candidate will be given 60 seconds to answer. Candidates may have 1 page of notes to refer to and will additionally have paper to write notes on. We will now begin with the opening statements from both candidates. Please take note of the timer before you. The first candidate will be Ms. Yamaguchi, who will start with her opening statement, followed by Mr. Johnson. You can now begin, Ms. Yamaguchi.
Well, good evening. My name is Michelle Yamaguchi, and I'm running for Auditor Controller. I'm in the unique and fortunate position where I am running unopposed. A little bit about me. I was born and raised in Ventura County. I have 25 years of experience working at the County of Ventura, first in Public Works and then in the County Executive Office. And I've spent the last 12 years working in the Auditor Controller's Office, the last 3 years as the Assistant Auditor Controller. I have a bachelor's degree in Business Administration with a concentration in accounting and a master's of Public Policy and Administration from Cal Lutheran University. A little bit about the Auditor Controller's Office, because I know a lot of people don't know what we do. Our mission statement is in the public interest. We provide high-quality, independent guidance and leadership in accounting, auditing, financial, and business practices in order to promote integrity, accountability, transparency, and compliance. And it's my goal to achieve that mission statement and continue it on when I'm elected this year. So again, thank you for this opportunity, and I'll yield my time.
Thank you, Ms. Yamaguchi. Our next candidate is Mr. Johnson. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Paul Johnson. I'm from Philadelphia. I came to California in 1979 to study chemistry at Berkeley, and I moved to Ventura County in 2002. Since about 2000, I've been a computerized system analyst, basically designing and testing and running computerized systems like those used by the county clerk to run the operations and the elections. I've supervised staff over the years, beginning at age 17, when I had a little roofing company with my brothers and friends to make money for college. I'm running because there's an abundant evidence that the elections are rigged and there's fraud. Now, there's a fellow by the name of Dr. Douglas Frank, a PhD chemist, who for the last 30 years or so has been analyzing election data in the USA. What he's discovered is there's a pattern across the country. They basically decide what the results are going to be, and then they manage to get votes that they need to get the predetermined results by doing the following. They pad the voter rolls with fake voters, and then as they're counting the votes, they create fake ballots to create fake votes so that they can get the predetermined final vote count. In the past, communities have gotten together and run the elections, and you kind of had trust in the elections because your neighbors were running the elections, and when you came to vote, you showed them your ID and signed the register, and you had a pretty good idea who was doing the voting. Well, we don't have that so much anymore. It's been taken away from us and given to corporations with machines that we don't know what's going on the inside. I'm going to restore that. I'm going to remove from the voter rolls people that are ineligible to vote. I'm not going to accept ballots after the close of Election Day. We're going to mail out ballots, but you're going to have to hand them in with a voter ID, and I'm going to limit ballot harvesting.
Thank you. We will enter the question section of the forum grouped by those posed to both, and then another section of position-specific questions. The first question will be posed to Ms. Yamaguchi, and then Mr. Johnson to follow, and then alternate between the two of you for this first group of questions. For Ms. Yamaguchi, what knowledge, skills, and experience have prepared you for the position that you are seeking? You have 1 minute.
Thank you. So like I said, I've been working for the County of Ventura for the last 25 years. I started in Public Works as a staff accountant and worked my way up to a supervising accountant, and then moved over to the County Executive Office, where I was a budget analyst, so I worked closely with departments on their board letters, their annual budgets, making sure that they were staying within their budget. And then for the last 12 years, I've been at the Auditor Controller's Office. I first started as the Chief Deputy over the property tax system, and for the last 3 years, I've been the Assistant Auditor Controller. So I think my depth and breadth of knowledge of county operations, both from the standpoint of a department in the weeds accountant and also as a budget analyst and now in the auditor's office has prepared me well to take on the role of the auditor controller.
Thank you, Ms. Yamaguchi. Mr. Johnson, you have 1 minute.
I have over 20 years' experience with computerized systems like those used by the county clerk, designing those systems, testing them to make sure they work, training people to use them, and additionally, document control systems like that used by the county clerk for managing documents like property transfer records. I have over 10 years' experience supervising staff like the people at the county clerk. Now, when I replace the incumbent, she will be removed and I will be put in her place. And the organization that's there running the office, the people that you meet at the clerk's desk to get documents and that kind of thing will remain intact. I will focus on improving the business operations, applying quality assurance management practices to the business operations and the computerized systems to ensure they operate as intended.
Thank you. The next question will first go to Mr. Johnson and then Ms. Yamaguchi. Mr. Johnson, you are either running to replace the current incumbent or challenging them. What, if any, actions and or programs would you continue or change during your term if elected? Mr. Johnson.
I will leave most of the programs intact for the short run. I will focus on election integrity issues. First of all, I'll remove from the voter rolls people not eligible to vote in Ventura County because they don't live here, they're not U.S. citizens, or they're dead. No ballots will be accepted after the close of Election Day. That's one of the ways that we get scammed. By when they count the votes, they figure out how many fake votes they have to create in order to get the final results they want. I will let the mail-out ballots happen, but you have to bring them in. Mail-in ballots are gone. You get mail-out the ballots, but mail-in, you have to bring the ballot, show your ID to check it in. And I'm going to limit ballot harvesting, which is, I think is part of the machinery of the fraud that goes on.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Ms. Yamaguchi, you have 60 seconds.
So I've been fortunate to work for our current auditor controller, Jeff Berg, both when I was in the county executive office and now in the auditor controller's office. And I would say I would continue the practices that he's put in place. One thing that Jeff excels at is communication. He's a great proponent of just if there's an issue, get somebody on the phone and talk to them right away, keeping those lines of communication open with the other departments, especially with the county executive office. Another program that started under Jeff's watch has to do with transparency. We've, posted all of our unclaimed checks, property tax checks on our website. And also, starting this year, we have a property tax refund portal so that property taxpayers can check on the status of their refunds. So I would say communication and transparency, I would continue those that Jeff has put in place.
Thank you, Ms. Yamaguchi. Our next question is, if elected, you would be in charge of a staff. Please state your leadership and supervisory experience and philosophy to ensure that you are all working towards fulfilling the responsibilities of your position. Ms. Yamaguchi, you have 1 minute.
So, like I said, I've been working for the Auditor Controller's Office since 2014. And when I first stepped into my role as Chief Deputy over property taxes, I knew nothing about property taxes except that I paid my own. And so I relied on the manager. And so I really think that, that taught me listening to the staff, learning from them. I continue to do that to this day. I think it's also a two-way street as far as, checking in on them and asking their opinions, what they think, how they think things could be made better. So communication is very important. And in the last 3 years as the assistant auditor controller, now I've kind of taken a wider 30,000-foot view over all the other divisions in the office, including the financial management, financial planning team, the internal audit team. So I believe in working closely with those chief deputies and understanding their concerns and what I can do to help.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, you have 1 minute.
Thank you. I've been supervising staff since I was 17 years old, beginning with Johnson Brothers Roofing that I started with my brothers and my friends to make money to go to college. I have a certificate in business supervision and management, which give me a scientific introduction to tools and techniques for managing people. I'm a Project Management Institute certified project management professional, which I've applied to my professional career for almost 2 decades. I have a lot of experience managing staff, contractors, and project team managers in various venues over more in aggregate, I'd say well more than 10 years experience. I don't expect to have any problem supervising the staff of the Ventura County Clerk. I've interacted with them a number of times over the last several months. They seem to be good people. When I look in the window, I don't see Michelle Ascension doing anything. So I think when she's gone and I'm there, things will go smoothly.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Our last question posed to both candidates, first to Mr. Johnson and then Ms. Yamaguchi. How will you work with the Board of Supervisors? What can you provide to the board, and what resources can they provide to you and your office? Mr. Johnson.
It's from what I've seen, the clerk's office runs fairly independently of the Board of Supervisors. They have oversight, but basically the county clerk defines how operations go. Certainly the Board of Supervisors approve the budget, so if I need more money, I'll have to be nice to them. And I will stay close with the Board of Supervisors because they're my business partners. And so I will submit feedback from them and work closely to achieve good service for the people of Ventura County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Ms. Yamaguchi, you have 60 seconds.
So my commitment is to continuing our good relationship with the Auditor's Office and the Board of Supervisors. I know in my experience as the Property Tax Chief Deputy, often our current Auditor Controller, Jeff Berg, would get questions from the supervisors on, information needed on property tax revenue, things like that. We are always happy to provide them with that information. Anytime, there's a question, I know Jeff is, always there to talk to them. So again, I will commit to providing that information when it's needed.
Thank you, Ms. Yamaguchi. Our next group of questions, like previously stated, 3 to each person, position specific. And so I will make sure to say the position and then the question, just to make it clear to everyone. So we'll still go in an alternating fashion, and I'll start off with Ms. Yamaguchi for Auditor Controller. Your question: according to the website on Ventura County's on the Ventura County government website, one of the goals and objectives is to, quote, perform productive audits annually to assess the efficiency and effectiveness of county services and increase accountability, end quote. What have audits revealed in the past, and how will you improve on making them more productive and effective? Ms. Yamaguchi.
In answer to that, so our internal audit division has an annual audit plan that they establish. There are a number of mandated audits like the cash count in Treasury, and there are compliance audits. I cannot honestly tell you of the recent findings. Sometimes those are not publicized, but there are, I commit to continuing to publish our audit reports on our website and to working with the departments to offer up, any correction plans and help them to better serve or to meet their goals, their compliance audit goals.
Thank you, Ms. Yamaguchi. Mr. Johnson, your question as clerk and recorder. One of the lesser-known roles of the clerk and recorder is to record property documents and locate real estate documents. How will you use the office to prevent the rising incidents throughout the country of real estate fraud? You have 1 minute.
That's a very good question. The people that perpetrate crimes usually have a modus operandi. For example, they usually stake out the place before they do a crime. So there should be fingerprints of a scam in the works. So I will implement processes and procedures, including computerized methods to watch for that kind of activity in its inception and flag those activities, those persons, and engage law enforcement in investigating before there's a fraud completed.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. The next question is first to you for clerk and recorder. The full title of the position is County Clerk Recorder and Registrar of Voters. How will you ensure that voters receive their information to be able to vote? You have 60 seconds.
From my experience, the county clerk's office is doing a pretty good job of sending out that information. They've established procedures, and I will continue those in the future unless I see need for adjustment. I have heard no complaints, and if there are, I'll make adjustments as needed to ensure that the people of Ventura are well served by the county clerk for election processes and information needed for them to make informed decisions during the election season.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Ms. Yamaguchi for Auditor Controller. The establishment and supervision of the accounting and financial operations is one of the charges of the office. What is your experience with this, and why is it important to your office and the public that this is conducted well? You have 1 minute.
So one of the main duties of our office is the compilation of the annual comprehensive financial report that reports out the county's financial standing. And the finding in that from the outside auditor is paramount to maintaining the county's good financial credit rating. So I think that ensuring that our staff who oversees that ACFR is well-trained and that we're able to retain the staff is very important. And so that's one of my goals, is to make sure that we have adequately trained staff and that we're able to retain that staff.
Thank you, Ms. Yamaguchi. And before we move to the last questions that are position specific, I'll just note that these questions were submitted by residents before this forum. We did receive a few questions for each of the positions, and they were integrated or added into the previous forums. But I just wanted to specifically call out now and to let the future voters know that questions were submitted before, and we were happy to include some of them in posing them to the candidates. So for Auditor Controller, Ms. Yamaguchi, from one of the residents, what would you do as Auditor Controller to improve overall transparency and confidence in reporting and public access? Also, your thoughts of enhanced fiscal oversight of large agencies such as the VCMC. You have 1 minute.
So to promote transparency, I would say that one of the goals of our office is to overhaul our website. So having reports being more easily accessible, and also putting more reports online so that helps the taxpayer for information that they're looking for. As far as financial oversight, one of the responsibilities of the Auditor Controller is that they sit on the Hospital Oversight Committee. So every month, the auditor is there at the table in listening to the updates from the Ventura County medical system. So asking good questions and making sure that they're following all the proper accounting principles is tantamount for the Auditor Controller.
Thank you, Ms. Yamaguchi. And Mr. Johnson, again, a question submitted by a resident. Example, you have a resident that requests a copy of their marriage certificate from the county but has no record of it, and neither does the state. What would you do in this specific circumstance or in general to assist without significant costs or time delay to your constituents? You have 1 minute.
The marriages are recorded at the county. I'd ask them, which county did you get married in, first of all? And where did you live? So perhaps it was not even recorded in the county of Ventura. That said, those are public records, and I'm not sure if there's a database that can be tapped to track down a marriage certificate in some other part of the United States of America, but I would do my best to assist that person to get the documents they needed. But if it's not registered in the Ventura County, then it's probably not the responsibility of the county clerk to find that marriage certificate.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. And as always, my last question is based more on getting to know the candidate a little bit more. The first question, or this question will be first posed to Mr. Johnson and then Ms. Yamaguchi. Question, what is your favorite place in Ventura County and why? Mr. Johnson.
My favorite place is the High Street Performing Arts Center. It's half a block away from my front door, and I rarely miss a performance. They do a first-class job. I saw Footloose a week or so ago. It was awesome. I recommend anybody that would like to see a great show that doesn't want to travel east of the 405 to show up at High Street Performing Arts Center.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. And Ms. Yamaguchi.
My favorite place would probably be either Harmon Canyon or the newest one, the Ventura Preserves. I like to hike on the weekends and after work, and so I found myself out on the trails trying to avoid rattlesnakes.
Thank you, Ms. Yamaguchi. And that concludes our time for these questions, and we will now begin the 2-minute closing statements from all candidates in the reverse order of the opening statements. The first candidate, Mr. Johnson, will start with their closing statement, followed by Ms. Yamaguchi. Mr. Johnson, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. I've entered this race because there's an abundance of evidence that the elections are rigged. Specifically, Dr. Douglas Frank has identified a process that's basically implemented across the country where voter rolls are padded with fake voters so that while they're counting the votes, they can use that pool of fake voters to create fake ballots, to create fake votes to get the predetermined election results. Now, it does seem absurd because we don't hear about this. Now, let's face it, the people that have the data, the people that are doing the fraud control the data, and they're often in leagues with the people that are supposed to do the enforcement. So the fact you haven't heard about it is no surprise. 40% of the people think the elections have fraud. Now, my observations are very consistent with Dr. Frank. For example, I was told that by a woman, my friend moved out of California 10 years ago. She got a ballot for the November 2025 Prop 50 special election, and she sent it in, but she didn't get a ballot for 2024. She didn't get one for 2023. So that's consistent with padding the voter rolls that Dr. Frank has been seeing. The Election Integrity Project California did 300 investigations, and among the results they got was 30 people registered to a storage locker. You can look at the 2020 election. Trump, on election day when it closed, Trump was ahead 56.3% compared to Biden 42.7%. But over the weeks, the mail-in ballots shifted it to Biden, and he won by 0.5%. Wow, what a miracle. Recently in Riverside County, for the 2025 election, they found 657,000 votes, but Riverside County only has 611,000 ballots. Now, how do you account for that?
Thank you. That is your time. We'll move on now to Ms. Yamaguchi. You have 2 minutes.
So the Office of the Auditor Controller is responsible for a wide range of things. We process the payroll for 10,000 plus county employees every 2 weeks. We process the accounts payable, that's 80,000 payments a year. We produce the annual comprehensive financial report. We are responsible for computing property taxes, and once that's collected, we apportion it to the cities, to the schools, to the special districts. We also have an internal audit division that performs mandated and compliance audits. And we also have a business technology group that runs all of our day-to-day operations for our financial management system. And my experience in the Auditor Controller's Office for the last 14 years has has given me an insight into the inner workings of our office, and I believe that I can make a difference at the county. I've enjoyed the last 25 years of my career at the county, and I want to continue to make a difference. Like I said, I'm a Ventura County native. My parents live here, my sisters live here, my family lives here, and I believe in the mission of the office, and I would be very thankful for your support.
Thank you, Ms. Yamaguchi, and thank you to all the candidates for participating in this forum. It takes an enormous amount of time and energy to run for office, not just for yourself, but also for your family, friends, and supporters, and we thank you for taking part in maintaining our democracy. I would also like to thank the INCO Executive Board for approving these candidate forums, Ms. Samantha Shapiro with the City of Oxnard for forum logistics, the INCO for hosting translation services into Spanish, and the City of Oxnard for the use of their council chambers. We thank all the candidates for your time to speak to the voters, and good luck to you all. At this time, we will take an extremely brief 1-minute pause in our proceedings to escort our candidates off the dais and continue with the INCO special meeting and transition back to the INCO chair, Diana Velzi. Thank you. We won't be in a recess. We'll just take a few seconds to escort our candidates and back to Chair Velzi.
Finish up the rest of the meeting. Public comments pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.3A. At the special meeting, a person may address the legislative body only on matters appearing on the agenda. The presiding officer shall limit public comments to 3 minutes per speaker. Do we have any public comments out there? How about online? No? Having none, let's move on to item D. But before we adjourn tonight's special meeting, I'd like to extend sincere thanks to everyone who helped make tonight's candidate forums possible. First, thank you to all of the candidates for participating this evening and for your commitment to public service and community engagement. Thank you to everyone who attended in person, joined us online through Zoom, or watched the live stream on YouTube. An informed community and active civic participation are extremely important, and we appreciate your involvement tonight. I'd also like to thank our moderator, Ronald Royho, for guiding tonight's forums and helping ensure a fair and organized program, as well as participating in the planning and presentation. Thank you to Madam Secretary Samantha Shapiro for her assistance this evening, and to the Oxnard INCO Executive Board for their planning, preparation, and input leading up to tonight's event. Thank you to the translation services, and most especially, we want to recognize and thank our film and technical team, Michael Gleason and Diego Zuniga, whose hard work made it possible to live stream and produce tonight's forums for the public. On behalf of the Oxnard INCO members, thank you again to everyone who participated and supported this evening's event. Do any of you want to add anything? No? Okay. So with that, I'd like to adjourn this meeting, and without objection, the special meeting of Oxnard INCO is now adjourned. Have a safe and pleasant evening.